kinda got a lemon with 70 degrees outside. He fishes night, you know, we have a lot, so it's gonna all be. Go off before we get on it. We gotta get the plan so we're ready to roll. So,
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll go ahead and welcome everybody out to the Soldier Summit Special Service District meeting today. This is a both in-person and virtual meeting, so we have hopefully people participating with us on the line, and I'm Commissioner Ivy chairing the meeting here at our location in the Commission Chambers. So we'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and look forward to a productive meeting. The first item, actionable item on our agenda is number 2, which is the approval of the minutes from the May 13th meeting. Those are included in the board's packets. Are there any questions?
I've reviewed those minutes and would make a motion to approve.
Did he? I don't think so. I will suspend the rules for this meeting given the absence of a third member, so I can second motions and second that. We have a motion and a second to approve the. Yep. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I will carry 2-0. Next up is a review of the public works items, projects in progress, including automation fencing on the water line pressure leakage. Turn time to staff.
All right, it's been quite an eventful summer up there so far. We've had the main water leak at the tank that we found, and we figured that was going to solve a lot of our problems. And as soon as we fixed that, we had a fire extinguisher or fire hydrant that blew off the base, and we were losing a lot of water out of there. That was supposed to have been fixed yesterday. So as of yesterday, I'm hoping all of our leaks are officially done and repaired, and we don't spring any new leaks. So
Brady, what caused the fire hydrant to blow up?
it's tipped a little bit. It almost looks like it got hit with something, but there was no tracks there, so it's hard to tell. It could have been a poor install, something's cracked, and it just finally. I haven't talked to the contractor that did that. We'll call him today and try to get what was actually wrong with it. He never called yesterday, so I'm assuming the fire hydrant itself was good, and they just had to repair the leak in the ground. So
When those get knocked off, do they seal themselves?
they should seal off, and that's what I'm thinking. If the fire hydrant gets knocked off, it'll seal, but if the pipe breaks coming in the fire hydrant, then I think that's where the water was coming from.
Thank you.
So then we had the big leak at the cabin earlier in the year, and that was repaired. As far as the other items, we are still trying to get our automation pricing. I've got 3 contractors working on that right now, try to get us a bid to get that automation done so we don't have to worry about the tanks running dry. Fencing, I cannot get people to even respond. People are so busy right now, so we're still working on that one.
Is there a timeline on that the state has given us?
No, we don't have, it just needs to be done, and when they come up and do another water survey, they're gonna hit us up again, and I don't wanna get points against us, so we'll pursue that and make that happen. As far as that goes, we did have an issue with Soldier Summit the day before yesterday. Their pressure went way down, so we went up and blew down the system, and they seem to be back online and doing well. As of yesterday, everything was good, so we'll check in with them. So as of right now, everything's running good. We're burning through the water up there this summer. So, and that, I think, farther down the list, we can discuss some items on that. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, it's a non-actionable item, so we'll move to regular agenda item number 4, which is to discuss, review, and approve a change of water rate fees for high volume usage.
I have a question on that, and that's, will that require a public hearing to change, or can we change water rates without a public hearing? Does anyone know?
I know it has to be done by ordinance, so, but I don't know I don't know that there's.
I know in our city, Woodland
Right.
Hills, where I'm serving on a finance committee up there,
Mm-hmm.
the city's not required to do a public meeting and get approval. They can raise the rate. but I don't know on the county if we can do that.
Yeah, it seems the last time they did this, when it increased, that there were some public hearings
We
and
had a
notices
public
about
hearing.
it, but,
Hello?
Is it Spencer, were you able to get online?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was on the original one.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I can double check on it, but I believe that with the rate,
So, yeah, I'm here.
there would be a couple of weeks.
Have you guys got started?
Yeah, we're on regular agenda 4, discussing whether or not we have to actually schedule a public meeting to change the rate fees. So my guess would be anytime we're going up, we have to. If we're going down, we don't.
right. At a minimum, you'd need an ordinance for sure, which, has to be published, but.
Okay? Maybe, Dean, if you can just kind of review that proposal for us and then,
So I don't know where this originated, so,
okay.
I don't have details about. Okay,
Brady? Okay. Brady, if you wanted to maybe just, we can talk about it and,
We've got some issues where the average cabin owner up there is probably using, the average is probably using less than 1,000 gallons a month. We've got some that are living up there that are probably using 2,000 gallons a month, and we've got some that are using 60 to 120 to 130,000 gallons a month. The ones that are using a lot of water are watering outside landscaping, and I do have a division of drinking water calculation that was put into that project up there back in 2009, and there was no outside watering figured into their calculations. So we're stressing the system by watering outside, and and this is another document we pulled up. This was from July 13th of 2005. Protective covenant for Soldier Summit subdivision, and this may have changed, but it says in here that it is intended that each lot shall be used as we don't even need, as a second home, not as a primary residence, and this may have already been addressed. If they're using as primary residence, they're required to find another 1/4 acre foot of water to provide to the district, because they're not designed for year-round living, they're designed for summer homes. Another part of this CCNR, it said, in order to preserve the natural appearance of the lots and to conserve water in an arid climate, lot owners may not irrigate or otherwise provide water for landscaping and vegetation on their lots.
Where are you getting that at, Brady?
I can get you a copy of this. This came out of the Utah County Recorder's Office. It was recorded in 2005. And I can get you guys
That's ringing
copies
a
of
bell
that.
to me that's,
Part of the CCR.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's been changed with your guys. So I think, this is where the rate deal's coming in, because you've got most people that are using 1,000 to 2,000 gallons, they're paying $5 per thousand, but we've got somebody up there that's using 130,000 gallons, paying the same amount, and that's what I suggest maybe we have a tiered effect, so that maybe it will discourage them from watering, but I think a lot of this, we can probably tell them they can't water, and I don't know who stands behind that and enforces that, but that's just a
well, if it's
thought.
part of the CCNRs, the HOA would
HOA should.
have the responsibility in that.
'Cause I know there's the one gentleman, and he's come in and visited with me, and he's concerned, he doesn't want, and he told me that this watering will decrease as his lawns and stuff grab hold. He says, I don't plan on watering, I just wanna have them, it's for erosion purposes, but there's 2 or 3 other cabins up there that are using water for irrigation purposes too. So, with that said, we are allowed, just reading through this documentation, it says 100, once we hit 100 lots, and I've always thought it was like 95, but this says 100. Once we hit 100 water connection fees, we have to drill another well. And we are right at 70 now, and with these people using as much water as they are, we could probably technically say we've hit the 100, and we probably need to really address, and I think that's farther down the line, but if we can quit outside watering, that will prolong monies that we have to throw at a new well, but if we continue at this pace, we're gonna have to look at putting a new well in. So, is there anything else?
I would just like a copy of that.
I can get that for you.
As soon
Yep.
as possible. Great, thank you.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, we will get a copy of that to the board, and then with legal with a review on the appropriate language and notices for a potential change.
I'll also point out in the pack, there were some statistics on how many billings are in each gallon of water category. So there's been 5 that have been more than 20,000 gallons this year, when typically that's only 1 or none. So
What are our rate breakdowns?
it's just
Presently.
$5 per 1,000 gallons used,
Okay,
in addition to the monthly fee and the property taxes that are
property
being
tax.
paid. Which also is just an interesting point that if it's a primary residence, then those homeowners are actually getting the property tax exemption, so they're paying less property taxes than a second homeowner. So if it is a primary residence, they're almost getting a break too, because they aren't paying as much property taxes as their neighbor. It's a second primary residence.
okay. I definitely think we need to consider a graduated per gallon rate. And I know that in Woodland Hills right now, where I'm serving on there, we have 15 tiers. I don't think we have to go to that extent, but definitely 4 or 5 tiers.
That is probably the easiest way to address the problem too.
Does it have to require a study of any kind? Like we have the Rural Water Association of Utah that did this study up in Woodland Hills, and they did a really nice job on that, but they're expensive.
My guess would be we might be able to look at some comparables from other districts perhaps and get some, just kind of maybe not a full study, but I'll bet if we looked at other cities, water districts that have tiered, we can probably come up with something that would be pretty close to what other municipalities or other areas are doing.
Is there any around that we could go to and study that?
Brady, could we stick you on that and you can look into that for us?
The one that's up in Hebrew, what, Timber Lakes?
Timber Lakes would be a good one.
Would be a good one.
Yeah, I can get you guys in contact with the Timber Lakes SSD members and make sure they get you any information you need.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Spencer.
Okay, with the end of discussion on that, we'll move to regular agenda item number 5, which is a discussion on funding for the preparation of a new well in Soldier Summit.
As we addressed earlier, that we're probably approaching that if we don't curtail some of the outside watering. I know there's some money in an account, and I don't remember, was that money ever moved? Do we still have a little bit of funding in for that second well, if I remember right? Does that ring a bell to you, Adam? It seemed like we were looking at a way to get the money into the counties. It's been a couple of years ago. It seemed like there was like $20,000 or $30,000 in a fund in order for us to drill that well. And that's something we probably need to look into.
Yeah.
Capital expenditure.
The bond, I
Right.
think it was the bond. That's what it was. So there's a little bit of money there now, but we've done a study, and I'm sorry I didn't bring the paperwork with me here. I can probably look it up on my email and we can talk about it later, but we're probably, to drill that well, we're probably $40,000 or $50,000, if not more. Maybe even more than that at this day and age. Plus we've got to build pump house, electricity, tie all the piping together. So it's going to be quite an expensive project. So if we can get the water curtailed and keep, we've put in 15 new connections this year on water. It's just amazing how things are booming up the canyon. And if we continue at that rate, we're going to be at the 100 connections before we know it anyway. So just a thought, but we need to look that that's coming up, and we probably need to start putting some money away for it.
Capital projects would be where that's budgeted, isn't it?
Right. Our balance right now is $99,000. There was the one project that's about 17 that's been spent this year, so there'd still be about $82,000 in that account.
Yep. That's
And
what
this
it's showing.
automation's gonna take a pretty good chunk of that we're looking at this year, that we've gotta get done. We're just killing the budget up there for guys running back and forth. We're going up there on the average of 3 times a week to do inspections and to do blue stakes and then to keep the water tanks full. So if we can, limit cut back on that, it would help on labor rates and stuff too, so.
Okay, any additional questions on the well? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to regular agenda item number 6, which is to approve, deny, and discuss an update on the terms for the Allred contract, and deny or give permission to sign a special service district contract with the Allreds. Legal, do we have an update on that? From our legal team? Looks like he's pulling it up there.
I'd like to make a comment before he says anything about who owns the property now.
Sure.
Okay, I'm James McClure. As of the first of the year, the Allreds do not own the property at the well and that, and I didn't know if the commission, if they were aware of that. And so, does that change their standing on, you know, the water rights to that well?
That's what we're working
Okay.
on with this.
Okay, thank you.
Adam Beck, County Attorney's Office. Yeah, we had previously drafted this contract, and we had not been in contract with the Allreds there for a little while. We'd been trying to get in contact with them, and then in our last commission meeting, that's when we found out that they had sold that property. Some of the issues that have now arisen is part of that agreement was that the county was going to be receiving an easement to be able to access that property to do several items, and now that they don't own that property, that'll be one of the things that we'll have to work out is, you know, what kind of compensation will we be getting? Can we get that easement? And those are things that we have not been able to work out yet. I don't know if, Brady, if you've been able to find out anything else on that.
I've met the gentleman that's bought the property up there, very nice guy. He's understanding that we've got some easement issues and that we're going to be soon drilling a new well, and I think, willing to work with us. I think we just need to reach out to him and find out how the water situation, you know, Allreds are still using as grazing rights, which help the community keep the taxes in the Greenbelt area, but by
Fire
them,
suppression as well is significant.
yeah, by them not owning the water rights anymore though, to that well, I don't know where we stand on that. If he's going to give them the water rights, and it's kind of a sticky one now that we got somebody using the water that's not really, do we bill them for the water use plus the electricity now, or do we just bill them for electricity like we've done in the past? Because it's really not them that own the water now, it's the new owner that owns the water. So it kind of throws some things into the mix that we're gonna have to address on the legal side of things.
Before that, we had Scott Olson up there, and he didn't have any ownership in that well.
And I think, and I don't know how, we didn't get payment from him very often because he just didn't pay. But the Allreds have been good. They paid last year's billing. I believe that was sent in, so they've been good at paying, but they've only had to pay for electricity, and it would almost be to the homeowners up there's benefit that we buy a meter and tell them this is where you fill your thing, and so we can meter exactly how much water they're using rather than going by their guesstimates, and then we need to determine if we bill for water and electricity, or if we just make them pay a connection fee every year so that they're tying into it and they have to pay the $40-something a month on top of the water they use. I don't know what the best situation is gonna be up there.
I think the challenge in it, Brady, is they probably move their water troughs around in there, and so they're not gonna be pulling from the same meter all the time.
But they do have a truck with 2,000
Okay.
gallon tanks on, and I visited with them on that, and they're filling that 3 to 4 times a week. So they've got 6,000 gallons, 24,000 gallons of water they're using roughly a week, 18 to 24,000 gallons that they're pulling. And if they've got that truck, we should be able to just say, this is where you fill it, we need you to
Right.
go through our meter. So that's something we need to look at. Do we want to go to the expense of buying that meter? And and monitoring them better, I guess.
And that meter was in the agreement that we had discussed and we created here. They were going to be responsible for
Installation and the whole works on
installation,
that.
yeah, everything there. But again, now that they don't own the property, we're trying to figure out how to best create a new agreement.
I'm wondering if the association could somehow give them, I guess it would require a member of the association probably give them some rights to a meter somewhere in the property areas. Is there any common ground?
Yeah, they would take forever to load the truck with the 3/4 inch hose. It has to come out of a fire hydrant. And then once they bring the sheep over onto the development, then they change what hydrants, you know, that they go to, because they set their troughs up by, you've seen where the troughs move. So,
Oh, that may
Yes.
be a retirement. They may have to use their truck and not set, if they're gonna fill their trough, here's where you fill, we gotta monitor you, you fill your truck, you fill your troughs, we don't let them just go wherever they want. And that
You-
helps us on our fire hydrant situation, so we know that they're not damaging our hydrants and causing us any-
Can we monitor a hydrant then and how much water's coming out of it
Yeah,
somehow?
We just have to buy the meter valve, so, and it'll tell you how much water's coming out of it. They use it on all the construction sites, they're not cheap, but in the long run, it will probably pay for us to do that.
Adam, why can't the association come up with a contract that just monitors the water that they use and then they're billed on that?
Yeah, cause I don't think, a lot of this stuff in this old contract won't even pertain to them
It won't
anymore.
pertain to them now, but can't we just draft it up where it'd be the association and we're representing the water holders there? And so as a collective body, we're agreeing to allow usage of the water as long as it's monitored and paid for.
That seems like
Makes
that
sense.
that could work. I can definitely look into that and see.
Okay, if you'll do that, that'd be great. Okay. And next up is regular agenda 7, to review, approve, and authorize payment of invoices and other current obligations.
Sure. So in the packet of information, there's a list of the items that need to be approved. Some are just small items, maintenance items. The biggest item to be discussed is the Whiting construction invoice, which was the repair of the water line and the fire hydrant that Brady had talked about earlier, that came in at $17,560.28.
And I know, Brady, we talked about it, it was broke, we had to fix it. So-
Right, exactly.
so-
And
It
I think
wasn't
the
a cheap
board,
fix.
It wasn't a cheap pick,
It
but,
went up twice. When we got into that project, we had the main original leak, but they damaged the other line, which is the high pressure line going into the tank. It was dented, and I made the decision. I said, while you're here, we got this opened up, let's just cut them back, make them good. And we cut that back, it had started to rust on the inside, so it was a matter of another year or so, and it was gonna cause us major problems. And then this other fire hydrant, well, actually, we repaired 2 fire hydrants. One was on the original, and then the other came up with this leak we had last week. So there was a couple additions, and I've been in touch with Commissioner Ivy, and they gave me the go-ahead while we had them there to just get it taken care of, so.
right. And I think in advance, the board had actually approved the first like $10,000
Right.
of it too separately, so. But it's just those 7 items that need to be approved in this meeting today.
okay. I'd entertain a motion for approval of those expenditures.
I will make a motion that we authorize the payment of these 7 items?
7.
7 items that has been noted.
I will second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the expenditures as listed and noted in regular agenda item number 7. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. Next up is to review and approve or deny outstanding receivables, past due accounts, and replace or remove liens and take necessary corrective action.
So we don't have anyone that's requested any fees to be waived for this discussion today. We do have a potential lien that may need to be issued. We have an owner of 3 lots that has been billed for January through May that hasn't paid anything towards those 3 lots. We followed up and sent a letter explaining that a lien could be placed, for failure to pay. We've also assessed the late fees in accordance with the fee schedule and just had any response.
Okay. I would entertain a motion if there's no discussion. Brady?
Just one thing, I've noticed when this came out, I look back and these folks have been delinquent before. This isn't the first time they've asked for, and I think we give them an exception the last time, so this is an ongoing thing with them. So I don't know if you guys knew that, so it's probably something we need to address.
So is the motion then to place a lien?
Yes,
Is
I
that
would
what you're
say
looking
so.
for?
The only thing that I don't know, just from a legal perspective, if we need to send a certified letter or anything like that, or if we can just go ahead and place the lien, just procedurally would be my question, but
I believe they would be.
I would make the motion that we go ahead and place the lien and then consult with legal to do the required steps to complete that.
I will second
Whether
that
that is
motion.
I have a motion and a second to place a lien on the noted properties. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. Next up is a review of the financial statements.
so just a general overall statement of of the district's financial position is there's no adverse effects. One of the things that we like to talk about a lot right now with finance is the impacts from the pandemic, and I don't think that we've seen any impacts to the Soldier Summit Special Service District financial situation as a result of the pandemic. All of the categories on the balance sheet, so assets, cash, mainly fund balance is the other one, are higher than they were at the same time last year, so that's all positive results. Also, the district is operating in accordance with the approved budget. So without diving into more details, I'd be happy to answer questions, but I think that's just the overall general statement of the operations.
Okay. Any additional questions on the financial status? Seeing none, we'll move to regular agenda item number 10, which is to review and tentatively approve the 2021 Soldier Summit Service District budget.
So the 2021 budget was adopted with the same methodology as the 2019 and 2020 budgets. There hasn't been any substantial increases in fee schedule, dependent on what's decided on how the rate might be structured for high volume users. That might make a little bit of a difference in the charges for services, but there's no property tax increase proposed. And so this is kind of just like a status quo budget for 2021.
Any questions on the tentative budget? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the tentative budget.
I will make that motion to approve the tentative 2021 budget.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the 2021 tentative budget. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. For finalization of our budget, we will need to hold a public hearing. It has been proposed that we set the time, date, and location for the public hearing to be on the 4th of November, 2020, here in this location. I would entertain a motion to such.
I will make a motion to set a public hearing for the finalizing of the 2021 Soldier Summit Special Service District budget at 10 a.m. November 4th, 2020 at the Utah County Commission Chambers, 100 East Center Street, Suite 1400, Provo, Utah.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion and a second to set the public hearing is noted in regular agenda item number 11. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. Next is to set the date and time and location for our next board meeting, which would be the same date, November 4th, just after the public hearing. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion that we hold the next board meeting 10 a.m., November 4th, Utah County Commissioners Chambers at 100 East Center Street, Suite 1400 in Provo.
Second.
I had a motion and a second to set the date and time as noted in regular agenda item number 12. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. Next up is any general public comment. Seeing none, we'll entertain a final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Spencer.